Rome, the greatest military power of the ancient world. Armies that never lost, generals that never retreated, and then a Carthaginian showed up with elephants. Welcome, I'm the Traveler, and today we're talking about Hannibal Barca, the man who, between 218 and 202 before Christ, almost destroyed Rome single-handedly, not through a surprise invasion, not through internal betrayal, but in open field, face to face, battle after battle. Rome lost to him, lost again, and lost a third time, and still Hannibal lost the war. That's not irony of fate. That's one of the most fascinating stories military history has ever produced. To understand Hannibal, you need to understand Carthage, a Phoenician civilization in North Africa, modern-day Tunisia, that dominated Mediterranean trade, wealthy, powerful, sophisticated, and at war with Rome for decades. The First Punic War ended in 241 before Christ, with Carthage defeated, humiliated, forced to pay absurd reparations for decades. Hannibal's father, Hannibal Barca, never accepted that defeat. Legend says that when Hannibal was 9 years old, he begged his father to take him to war in Hispania. Hannibal agreed on one condition, that his son swear before the gods eternal hatred for Rome. Hannibal swore and took that oath very seriously. In 218 before Christ, Hannibal did something every Roman general considered impossible. He left Hispania with an army of 90,000 soldiers, 12,000 cavalry, and 37 war elephants. He crossed the Pyrenees, crossed southern Gaul, and then did the unthinkable. He crossed the Alps in winter with elephants. The crossing took 15 days. The cold, avalanches, and local tribe attacks killed half his army. Hannibal arrived in Italy with 26,000 men, less than a third of what he started with. Rome learned he was coming and thought, perfect. This will be easy. What happened over the next 2 years entered history as the most severe series of humiliations Rome ever suffered. Battle of Ticinus, 218 before Christ. First encounter. Rome sends its elite cavalry. Hannibal destroys it in minutes with his Numidian horsemen. Rome retreats. Battle of Trebia, 218 before Christ. Rome sends a larger army. Hannibal lures the Romans into a freezing river ambush. 2/3 of the Roman army dies. The rest flee. Battle of Lake Trasimene, 217 before Christ. Roman consul Flaminius pursues Hannibal through the morning fog. Hannibal had hidden 40,000 soldiers in the hills around the lake. In less than 3 hours, 15,000 Romans were dead, Flaminius among them. It was one of the greatest ambushes in military history, and the worst was yet to come. August 2nd, 216 before Christ, the Battle of Cannae. Rome didn't make the same mistake 3 times. This time, they sent everything. 86,000 soldiers, the largest army Rome had ever assembled, against Hannibal's 50,000. The Romans advanced in mass at the center, as they always did, and Hannibal's center retreated slowly, deliberately. As the Romans pushed forward, driven by their own momentum, the Carthaginian wings closed in from both sides. By the time the Romans realized what was happening, they were completely surrounded. 70,000 Romans died in a single day. Cannae was not a battle. It was a manual. 2,000 years later, generals still study that movement, the double envelopment, as the perfect example of tactical maneuver. Hannibal didn't win because he had more men. He won because he thought differently. And here we reach the question every historian has asked. If Hannibal was unbeatable on the battlefield, why did he lose the war? 3 reasons, and all of them are deeply human. First, Carthage never sent reinforcements. Hannibal spent 15 years on enemy soil asking for help. Internal politics were divided. There was a faction that preferred to let Hannibal fail than to strengthen his family's power. Second, Hannibal never marched on Rome. After Cannae, with Rome in panic, his generals wanted to attack the city. Hannibal hesitated. Without siege equipment, without reinforcements, it would have been suicide. The general who won every battle had no way to win the siege. Third, Rome didn't give up. After Cannae, Rome recruited slaves, armed teenagers, and kept fighting. Rome learned from Hannibal and used what it learned against him. While Hannibal was stranded in Italy without reinforcements, Rome produced its own military genius, Publius Cornelius Scipio. Scipio did something no one expected. He ignored Hannibal. Instead of trying to defeat him in Italy, he invaded Hispania, Carthage's supply base, and then went straight to Africa. Carthage, in panic, recalled Hannibal after 15 years on enemy soil. October 19th, 202 before Christ, the Battle of Zama. Two military geniuses face to face for the first and only time. Scipio had studied Cannae. He knew exactly how Hannibal thought. When the Carthaginian elephants charged, Scipio opened corridors in the Roman lines. The elephants passed through without damage. His cavalry enveloped both flanks. Scipio used Cannae against the very inventor of Cannae. Hannibal lost for the first and only time in open battle. What happened after is almost more tragic than the war itself. Hannibal survived Zama. He returned to Carthage and tried to rebuild the city as a statesman. It worked for a few years, but Rome never forgot. Rome never forgot anything. Pressured by Rome, Carthage ordered Hannibal's arrest. He fled. He spent years in exile, moving from kingdom to kingdom, always one step ahead of Roman agents. In 183 before Christ, surrounded in Labisa in Bithynia, Hannibal took the poison he had carried for years in a ring. He was 64. He was never captured. His last words, according to the accounts, were, "Let us relieve Rome of her great anxiety, since she is too impatient to wait for an old man's death."